Greetings, salutations. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Ekard here, my partner in crime,
Hey guys, what's up? It's OTK.
and we are here for the Fantastic Four First Steps official trailer 2025. Um, yeah, so it's funny because we just finished watching Spooderman, your friendly neighborhood Spooderman, which we have uploaded, of course, on the channel. But Fantastic Four, has been making an appearance in the Spooderman's verse. I'm gonna keep calling him Spooderman, even though Spider-Man, we all know. But it's just, yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything on your neighborhood friendly Spider-Man for this one. I think, you know what? We'll watch the trailer and then we'll pull back all of our thoughts about Fantastic Four and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it like that. So we're gonna jump right to the trailer first, folks, and then we'll discuss everything. Let's see what this is gonna look like.
Welcome to the Baxter Building.
We make a point to do family dinner every week. Sunday at 7 on the dot, no matter what. We're all here.
Oh man.
I won't lie, her hair is really bothering me.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that.
The thing.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, sure.
okay. Is this guy good or what?
This man's cooking.
I want to add a couple cloves of garlic. Not because it's not delicious, I just want to add a little bit of zip, okay?
T-5.
Before we went up the first time, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock.
The best pilot in the world right here.
Yeah. Best looking, he means.
And Johnny never caught fire.
Oh
Ben
man.
has always been a rock. Johnny is Johnny.
Hi.
And I am right here. Whatever
Vanessa
life
Kirby.
throws at us, we'll face it together.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
As a family.
Yeah, I was expecting this. Oh, the Fantastic Four vocals? Okay. Oh man.
Hey.
All right. I have some thoughts, but I want you to go first. I want you to cook first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a passing FF fan.
Mhm.
I dip in and out of the comics. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan of when She-Hulk joined FF.
Mhm.
I love reading the older books where She-Hulk's on the FF and just her interaction with everyone. And I'm more of a bigger fan of the cartoons from the 90s and the
Mhm.
2000s. I know the entire theme song, the
Mhm.
first season theme song to the Fantastic Four, and I can hum the instrumental to the second one. Like it's
Yeah.
that serious. And um, I liked the first two, not the old, like I think it's the 80s or 90s Fantastic Four movie that came
Mhm.
out. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I've only seen like the Jessica Alba two. And I like those because
Yeah.
they're fun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the one that came out a couple years ago because I didn't like how it shook out, like
Mhm.
casting choices and story choices.
Yeah, because last 20 years it's been two major films, right? And so 2005, 2015, that was the last one you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just looks so blah.
Yeah,
But
that
that's
one, yeah.
part of the course of what's been happening with kind of around the time with superhero movies anyway, where everything, I mean, and just movies in general, everything needs to be
Mhm.
dark and gritty to ground it. And I'm just like, all right, sure. It is what it is.
Mhm.
I do think, I like the inclusion of Michael B. Jordan in it because I loved him in
Mhm.
that movie he did where him and the two other guys get superpowers. And
Oh,
it's all shot
yeah.
through the camera.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. 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 No, I was about to say Cloverfield. It's not Cloverfield.
No, it's not Cloverfield, but
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
good movie.
Yeah. I remember when you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, when his casting got called, I was like, okay, him as Johnny, that's cool. I hope they cast a black actress to be his sister. but they didn't. Not that I don't like Rooney Mara, or that one's Kate Mara. I think that one's Kate Mara. I like her as an actress; she's fine. But I was like, this was an opportunity to, you know, really shake the table, or make him read and have your black character be the scientist. Like, I don't know. I think they could have gone in a lot of directions, and I just felt like a lot of missed opportunity happened there.
Yeah.
And also I heard about the story and I wasn't like, oh, this doesn't seem like a story I want to tap into anyway. Aside from that, the most interaction I've had with FF was at the beginning of the Krakoa era in 2019, where Scott let the FF know that Franklin is welcomed on Krakoa anytime because Franklin is a mutant. They retcon that, but Franklin is a mutant. Franklin is a mutant. And kind of cracked Sue's face because of the argument that they got into, right? And of course, Reed and Sue have now appeared in Marvel Rivals. And we're expecting Johnny and Ben in the next coming weeks, which I'm really excited about. So, you know, it's been a lot of things have been building up for excitement for FF. And then when we got the key art for this movie over the summer, and I love the artwork for it, and that was like real astounding. When they announced the cast for it, I'm still not sold for Pedro as Reed. He doesn't read as Reed Richards to me. So I'm hoping it like he can convey it in the movie for how everyone else has portrayed Reed Richards in media. I'm hoping he could tap into that and then change my mind. Joseph Quinn, you know, that's fine. I liked him in Stranger Things. I liked him in A Quiet Place, Day One, and all the other little things I've seen him in. I think he's a nice, young, fresh actor. His look is a little Jessica Alba-y in the second Fantastic Four, where we're really going with the really blue contacts and really blonde hair, and it's kind of throwing me off because it doesn't really color match his skin tone.
Yeah.
It's kind of just a lot. This guy from The Bear, I liked his casting. I was like, I don't see the bear that like I only seen bits and pieces of the bear, but every time I see him on screen, I'm blown away by his acting. And it's a Jewish actor playing a Jewish character, so I really hope like I love that considering all the conversation that's been happening in a very long time over who gets cast for these parts, the erasure of Jewish actors for Jewish roles or Romani actors for Romani characters, and are raising their heritage and their history and what and parts that make them who they are as a character for these live action takes.
Yeah.
That's the whole conversation. Vanessa Kirby, I like her as an actress. I like her in a lot of things. I actually just watched one of her Mission Impossible movies, and I'm so captivated every time I see her on screen. So I was like, yeah, but she's fine for Sue. I could kind of see maybe like Emma Frost instead, but yes, it's fine. As a lot of people have pointed out over the weekend, it's again where modern movies have a problem with styling period pieces appropriately. And her hair really, I can see what people were talking about. Her hair is just like, it's too, and I know it's, honestly, it's not nitpicky because I watch a lot of period pieces. 60s, 70s, and 80s are some of my favorite times in history to watch media from or media about. And when I feel like when productions don't really commit to the aesthetic, it takes me out. It takes a lot of us out because you go, well, that's not really a fabric they would use at that time. That's not really a hairstyle they would have at that time. It's just too 2024, 2025, and it's like, well, you're Marvel's so big, fucking just get it right. Just get it right. It's not that hard to style a wig for this woman so that she looks period accurate. All that to say, maybe those are small nitpicks, but I think I like the color palette, but it still feels a little too washed out. I'm hoping when the movie debuts, it's a bit brighter. Or maybe they're just using the washout of everything else to really show the blueness of the suits. I don't know. I'm mixed about this because like I'm excited, but also like I just Marvel just hasn't really been doing it for me lately, and I'm just like, oh, you have a lot of money, just be better. Just be
Mhm.
better. There's these little things that we shouldn't be picking out just from a trailer. I mean, and it's like, we did a review for Deadpool and Wolverine, and I had nitpicks in that too, but yeah. I'm excited to see Galactus again and what that means for the universe at large. Um, I think they talked about they were hiring someone that a lot of us were talking about. Could it be the Mole Man? And I think that'd be really cool because
Yeah,
that's like,
oh man, it's gonna be
yeah, because that's like one of their first baddies, and it's
yeah,
just like, I don't. I love when we don't take from recent comic book history. We kind of tap into the older stuff,
yeah,
and I'm hoping because this is a period piece, we do that.
yeah. Because
Um,
we know Julia Gardner is gonna be Silver Surfer slash Shala Ball.
mhm,
I don't. Yeah, that's what I was trying to see where she's gonna be because I watched her in Ozark and she's
right.
just amazing in Ozark. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I forgot that she was in this, but I do remember everyone making a big kerfuffle about it. And again, it's
hmm
just one of those things where you go, well, this is another multiversal story.
hmm
So if you don't like it, go watch the other three movies that are Fantastic Four. And if you don't like those, go read the comics. Go
yeah,
watch the cartoons. There's at least three different FF cartoons
yeah,
you could watch. Like, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to be upset about this. This is a different universe. Like,
yeah, yeah.
it's okay. I mean, like we talk about this with a lot of the stuff that we watch, especially when it comes to superhero stuff and people talk about gender bending or race swapping. If a race or a gender isn't essential to the actual story arc or the character, it's fine to change it up.
hmm
And as we know in comic books anyway, they're different Silver Surfers. It's just picking out which one you want. There's also what ifs about different Silver Surfers. We just had one of my favorites is what if Dazzler was the Galactus's Herald? What
hmm
if Rogue and Gambit were Galactus's Herald? Just came out a few weeks ago. So I mean, there's it's just a multiversal story. It's okay as long as it's not essentially changing the core of the character itself. Then it's fine. It's fine. We just all gotta go along for the ride with it and see what happens. Maybe this will turn out to be your favorite iteration of Silver Surfer. We don't know. Give these things a chance, which is what I'm trying to do with this movie. Right? It got me excited. Hearing any comic book fanfare always gets me excited. Seeing
hmm
superheroes thrown into action gets me excited. I'm hoping they somehow recreate the first cover of Fantastic Four. That would drive me absolutely crazy. Um, yeah, I'm like mixed because I am excited because I'm excited for the Fantastic Four, right?
hmm
I'm excited to see what they can do with Marvel's first family, right?
hmm
Because I do love them and I respect them as characters. But Marvel has really been hitting a lot of zeros lately, or just not sticking the landing for a lot of things. Um, we watched X-Men 97, we watched Agatha All Along, we watched Wolverine and Deadpool, we're watching Friendly Neighborhood right now. Um, I know there's a lot of controversy with Marvel and how they're taking care of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Secret Invasion was bad. Yeah, it's a mixed bag. It's really hard to get excited for something when they've kind of just really been hit and a lot of miss in the last couple years. So
yeah.
yeah, I'm excited. I like the makeup for Ben. I really do. I have photos in my phone of like behind the scenes stuff where it's an actual suit. That makes me so fucking happy that it's practical and not CGI, even though some of it looks a little CGI.
hmm
It could just be because the trailer and how it's compressed for YouTube and how it's compressed for a smaller screen. Hopefully, it'll look better on the large screen. I like the Herbie design. It's the Herbie design that they're also using for Marvel Rivals. He's
hmm
such a cute little guy. I love cute little guys. Yeah, someone also threw out the theory. I saw that they're hoping that Galactus doesn't eat this Earth, and that's what propels them into the future,
So yeah, I was
into.
gonna say well, I have a theory. So I'll say
Okay,
it
all right.
after.
Look, I said enough. And I give the trailer itself a 7 out of 10. I think a lot of the things that bothered me really do bother me, and a lot of my hesitations is really keeping me back from being super excited.
Mhm.
But that final shot of them on the podium, um, I love that. I want a poster of that. I just wish Sue's hair was different, and I also wish Johnny's look was a little different. And I also wish maybe I don't know, Pedro Pascal, please sell me on your Reed Richards. All right, anyway, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so I'm at Fantastic Four. Oh man. So the first movie and the sequel and then the second one in 2000. It's like it's one of those where I just keep giving it chances and then I just keep getting let down.
Oh, me with the
With
X-Men movies, yes.
with all the Fantastic Four movies, it's just like it just keeps just my expectations are just they're low.
Yeah.
But and it's like this is now the third iteration. We are hopefully we have learned from 20 years. We are now reintroducing, um, you know, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, who should be in this movie some way somehow, right? And
That's the thing. I don't think he is. I think
I have a theory. So
okay.
this is my theory, right?
Go.
So I believe because this is the first phase of Marvel's, phase 6 to begin the new phase and whatnot. I don't think what we're seeing right now is a part of the MCU at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Galactus being, if he's gonna be like the big bad villain, I think Galactus has to destroy this particular Earth in order for them to get to the MCU's world. But I think at this point in time, whenever Doctor Doom does show up, slash, will be Robert Downey Jr., Victor Von Doom, they're going to be probably working together. Him and Reed Richards in Fantastic Four, they're like all friends. But it's going to become one of those things because Galactus destroys this Earth, then that creates the rift, which because that's where Doomsday technically would have Doctor Doom as like say a featured villain itself. And then it's gonna be pretty much what he'll like. I can see like Doctor Doom blaming the Fantastic Four for not saving the original world, since we've already introduced like the multiverse and whatnot. But where does that leave? Because right now, like from what I saw in the trailer, I'm just like none of this screams that we're in the current timeline of the MCU. From looking at it,
yeah, they talked about that when I don't know when they first said that this film was in production or over the summer, but they were like, yeah, this isn't in the current MCU timeline. They let us know already. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm just like, all right. So especially because I pay attention to none of that, with like interviews. That's why I'm like, yeah, I just like if they did interviews or whatnot, I didn't know. But that's why I'm looking at this even more. So I'm saying, all right, well, Galactus is here. We know what Galactus does. But we also know that there are technically 3 villains, main big villains in the MCU at the moment. Galactus, Doctor Doom, and Khan, right? Which the only thing I have seen they're trying to recast for Khan, slash probably bring back Jonathan Majors or whatever. So if Doomsday was already teased to have Doctor Doom in it, this is the only film at the moment that we can even have a glimpse of, Victor in it, and come to the point of where he'll be a part of, Doomsday. Because I'm looking at, hold on, let me actually bring up the Phase 6, right? So Phase 6 is supposed to be Fantastic Four, which is this first film. Then immediately Avengers Doomsday, right? Then after that, it'll be another Spider-Man, No Way Home, and then Avengers Secret Wars. Yeah, like that's what like I'm just I'm just trying to figure out because it's 1960, right? That's where this is pretty much being held at, and I think the goal is to prevent this world from being devoured by Galactus. But I think it has to fail in order for them to get into the MCU so that it could propel Doomsday, whatever happens in Spider-Man, and this eventual Secret Wars that can go down. It's like I can't see them defeating Galactus. Kind of like one of those things, I guess, what happened like with Endgame, where they didn't beat Thanos in the first film. So I can't really see them defeating Galactus, but I also think like if since they introduced Doctor Doom, that they will want to capitalize on having him somewhere in the film. Maybe not as full, the Overlord Doctor Doom himself, but as some point of a contention to where eventually Doctor Doom could be like, all right, well, FF, you guys didn't save the world, that didn't save my world, so I'm gonna do my own thing, type of deal. That's kind of where I see things at. I don't know what happens after that. I'm just from this trailer, that's what I'm
But
looking
I
at and I'm
don't.
seeing. Yeah.
There's a part of me. So obviously,
Mm,
when Robert Downey got announced
mm,
for Doom, I checked out because I'm like,
mm,
ugh, God, gross. But I don't think he's playing Victor. I think he's playing Tony Stark, who becomes Doom.
mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I
Well, that
don't think.
yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because like because in the comics as well, there is a portion where Iron Man does become Doom,
Yeah,
right?
because
Yeah,
they swap bodies.
yeah. So that's where I guess that's where some of the confusion is going to be, like what type of story they're going to try to spin for Victor, because the only way for me to make sense of it is in this universe in 1960 it would be Victor, but he's just as Tony. Like it's Robert Downey Jr. as Victor in that universe, because I can't really see them casting a Victor, um, killing him off, and then Tony picks up the mantle of Doom. Like that's in the current MCU. That's why I'm thinking if this is opening up the multiverse, that's
Unless it
where
becomes
yeah.
like this universe's Stark family stays
Mm-hmm.
selling arms,
Mm-hmm.
and in that something happens where Tony becomes bad and
Mm-hmm.
then takes the moniker of Doom, so that eventually they can do a Victor Von Doom,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like this. That's the only way I could see them actually getting out of the mess that they created for this, right?
Yeah.
That you can still do Tony as Doom, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to tap into one comic one time, and you want to bring back Robert Downey, right?
Yeah.
So the only way I can actually see this fundamentally working, so it's not a huge mess, and that way we can actually introduce Victor at some point, or keep Victor in this story, like him and Reed went to college together, buddies, science buddies, whatever. But the Starks are still in the arms race,
Mm-hmm.
and through the FF going out into space or whatever happens with Galactus, Tony's like, fuck, like you said, fuck, you guys destroyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here trying to save everything. Fuck you guys. Now I'm doing my own thing. And
Yeah.
then he takes the moniker of Doom. Having
Yeah.
Robert Downey be Victor Von Doom really would be like already hiring is one slap to the face. Making him Victor would be another slap to the face.
Yeah.
So
Because he would
I'm
have to like that's what I'm thinking. Like he would have to be Victor, in the 1960s verse, especially because Fantastic Four is gonna be in Doomsday. It's
yeah,
just a matter of like
but with
how
how
do
they
we get to
changed,
get
well,
to it?
yeah, but MCU
Yeah,
has changed a lot of bullshit. MCU
yeah,
has changed a lot of bullshit. And they're known for changing bullshit for the worse, never really for the
okay,
better half the time. And then when they start tapping into comic books lore, it's like, okay, now you guys are really fresh. Like, okay, we're getting something here.
mm-hmm.
Going back and hiring Chris Evans and Robert Downey is really about, and the Russos is about nostalgia that took place 10 years ago, I guess. And in my personal opinion, bending to the will of fanboys.
Yeah,
Instead of going forward and hiring appropriate actors or new fresh faces, or you guys have so many characters you've presented to us over the years. Fucking make shit about them, right?
mm-hmm.
But now we're here with the FF, which is fine. Um, I think if they do go the route that they hired Robert Downey to play Victor, that's where we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a huge problem. To me, like I said, if they're trying to backtrack the bad press that they did get for this, it would be like, yeah, he could still be Tony Stark. Tony Stark is just a bad guy, which isn't hard to believe, right? It would just be like another genius gone mad with genius or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And And still incorporating, like you said, you guys fucked up. I could do better than this, so it's time to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Because we all know the Starks were running the arms game. The Starks were involved in the government and in the super soldier serum. We know that from Captain America: First Avenger,
Yeah.
the Agent Carter series. We know how much his father was involved in all that, and then
Yeah.
of course the first Iron Man movie, and then Wanda and Pietro's story because of Stark Tech, Stark Arms. It really hurt a lot of people because
Yeah.
he was in this game. So to me, it would make the most sense to keep him at the starting level of who he is and
Yeah.
just make him bad, right?
Because in the
And then bring Victor
comics,
later.
'cause I was gonna say in the comics, Victor takes over Tony Stark's body to become Doctor Doom. So that's one way they can do it. Even though it's not the most, well, yeah, MCU's never been accurate, which is why,
Yeah, that's what I'm
which
saying.
is why I'm
When
just
people,
like, yeah,
yeah, when people bring up that comic, a lot of us are just like, okay, but at this point, the MCU just cherry picks what it wants to do.
yeah,
A lot, like we talked about Civil War in recently in something we watched.
yeah.
And Civil War is completely different. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
toned
and
down
oh
in
yeah,
scale of what they showcase in the movie. It's a completely different thing. What they do with these movies, a lot of time as comic book fans know, people who do these movies and the executives don't actually like comic books.
mhm,
They don't. So they just cherry pick what they think is going to bring them cash from the general audience and wish us all good luck. I
right,
think that's also why I got very nitpicky with the FF trailer. It's just you're a company with a lot of money behind you and you're just not selling it, right? You're not giving into the fantasy of what's the lore that's there.
mhm,
So yeah, it is like we know Doom is gonna happen. We know Robert Downey Jr. is gonna be Doom. There's still the opportunity to let Tony be Doom, but still introduce Victor
mhm,
because, as we know, Robert Downey is getting older too. He's not going to want to, I mean, like Hugh Jackman is probably going to be in and out for the next 10 years, but you can still establish Victor
mhm.
while keeping Tony as Doom. I mean, I think you should introduce Victor Von Doom as Doom first, but here we are. This is the situation we're in. Yeah, so to me, the most sense would be just allow Tony to be a bad guy. Don't follow the one comic where they swap bodies because then you have to explain that. Unless they're also going to introduce a Victor into this,
Mhm.
and it's a fantastical world anyway. Go ahead. I mean, a giant man
Yeah,
from space is coming to eat the
yeah.
world,
Like
so
literally,
you know what
Galactus is gonna be
I
here to like
mean?
fuck shit up regardless,
Yeah. So,
and
but
he's gonna be here for 3 whole movies. So we got
right.
him for this FF, for Doomsday, and for Secret Wars. So
Yeah, and they dropped the war. They dropped the ball with Thanos as it was anyway. They dropped the ball with
mhm.
Kang and what's going. To me, really, this
It
just
wasn't,
feels
yeah,
like
because it
they're
wasn't even supposed to be King. I mean, it was
yeah,
supposed to be Doctor Doom. It was supposed to be King, and then they
right,
fired. And yeah,
exactly. So now they're trying to backtrack and reconfigure the future of the MCU, and it's right now it's all a mess. To me, it's
yeah,
always been a mess, but right now it's a big mess.
yeah,
So they're just trying to do what they can to get butts in seats, get people excited, bring back these older names, even though they were like, yeah, we're done. Obviously, no one's ever really done. Um, to turn the tide in their favor instead of relying on things that they've already have established and going forward with the people that they have there now.
yeah.
Um, I mean, considering that we have Echo, we have Agatha all along.
Mhm.
We have stuff that got kind of laid out in Secret Invasion, which I know you didn't watch, but we're getting another season of Daredevil, which is connected to Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and then we have Hawkeye. So we have all these characters that have been established that we haven't seen in years to move forward and just throw them all in a pot and hope it all works at the end, right?
Yeah,
But with the old guard. I don't know. Look, I think whatever happens with this movie, it's really meant to make a statement on how things are going to go forward. Like I said, I'm half excited, I'm half hesitant. Impressed but not really impressed because again, it's like looking at a large company who has a lot of money that really isn't selling the fantasies. It's a constant cycle of very annoying, and I'm tired of it when it comes to comic book media, live action media.
yeah.
Like you have Disney, you have Mickey Mouse books. Put that into this shit, right? Yeah. I just think I just hope Marvel Rivals Fantastic Four isn't better than the movie Fantastic Four.
It will be.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hey man, games are just that inherently much funner at the end of the day.
I mean, considering that they are actually legitimately pulling from comic book lore, and
Yeah.
and they're doing the multiversal thing too. If you haven't played Marvel Rivals, you don't know the story. Two Dooms come together, and Galacta, the daughter of Galactus, is trying to help us fix the time stream, and stuff like that. But they're pulling from comic book lore, and it's more believable than what we've gotten with whatever the fuck is going on. So yeah, I mean,
About to be
I think
interesting.
Vanessa Kirby's hot, so I'll go watch it for her.
Oh man. Well, folks, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below about all the theories and thoughts that we had for the trailer. And we'll be catching you guys next time. I already know. Doses.